Freedom Planet 2. Yo, man. Do you know how long I've been looking forward to this game? And then when I beat it, I'm like, what the fuck? So, like, I already did, like, my review of the game on, like, Steam. And one person already found it helpful. So, you know that, like, I don't even know where to start with this one. Like, it's like, well, I can recommend the game. It still has a certain number of problems. The biggest problem is the fucking story. Like, yo, man, when it came into the first game, it has problems too, but most came down to like pacing, and then like the first half of the game where it's like, okay, I feel like I can skip out on the story now. But at that point, that's when people hopped on board. That's what was happening with Freedom Planet 1 and the Castle Solid. Here, while the Castle Solid, why the fuck is there no Brevin? Before I expand on that point, why the fuck did I look everything up? Like, there's much less of that. This time, because of the one section where they gave you a whole library, I mean, even then, they gave the whole library and then the time capsules. But why the fuck? Most of the time capsule stuff, just Cordelia. Like, most of it is just Cordelia. I'll get to her a little later. So it's like, and then it's like the Kingdom Stone, like, a whole lot of shit just functional without the Kingdom Stone. Like, it's like, it got dusted. It's like specs. Like, they don't even really mention the freaking Kingdom Stone. Again, look, I beat the fucking game as Lilac. Pretty much no mention of the Kingdom Stone. So what happened at the end of Freedom Planet 1 was inconsequential, practically. Like, like, that was the case. Like, should have worked on destroying it in the first place. Like, that should have been like their main goal. Um, now, like, I believe the biggest mention about the Kingdom Stone was for this one part when it came to like crystallizing Murga. So they should use the Kingdom Stone to like crystallize her. Now, I don't think they really mentioned how they did that exactly, but it sounded like they're talking about the Earth Dragons. It was with their technology. Now, this is an inability the Kingdom Stone could do. They didn't fucking mention about it. They don't really mention about what the Kingdom Stone was being used for. I got an idea, a very good idea after looking that shit up. So there was like a whole lot of questionable decisions happening here. And it's like when it comes to the dev team's decisions and then like the director's decision, um, I want to say it's because they don't really look at criticism, but it seems like they actually do. But how much of that is being considered, um, I can't really tell you. But like, so like when it comes to like the question with decisions, it's like, okay, we got the demo throughout like the longest, this like long stretch of like the game trying to come out. Like, what was that wait time? That was like 5 years plus of wait time for this game to fucking finish. So how are you gonna give me a demo, but only updated like 2 or 3 times, and then be like, okay, we're gonna do annual updates, a whole big ass updating session through like the few videos we'll put out and annual updates on the on our Discord. Can't tell how much I was keeping let my eyes peeled on that shit too, like in the news section. That's why I joined the Discord in the first place. So how can you give us that much, and then also be like, so yeah, like those four characters that was in the demo, we're not gonna give you any more. That's it, and we're not gonna do DLC. At that point, I'm like, what exactly are you fucking working on? When it looks like a whole lot of the game is like done. Then Sabrina, like the director, she don't mention about how like just how well like the Dead Team are doing. So that's a little concerning too. But it turns out most of that time, yeah, Luigi worked on the visuals. 90% of our time was dedicated to the visuals. What? If y'all wanted to make a freaking museum of like all this shit, like there's in between that and making a game. And like we know that this is a very combat centric action platformer. So you should dedicate most of that time to making that the best it can be, and far better than Freedom Planet One. Like as the game is now, it feels more like a marginal improvement over the first game, with Mila pretty much having like the best improvements, like easily. So like there's like a whole lot of confusion going on here. And then like when it came into okay, I'm not even really gonna talk about like gameplay like this because like we'll be here all day with that one. But I do like there's a bit of it I would want to talk about like more in depth. That's a separate video. Talking about the stage links and how people really don't like that. I'll cover that later, some more time. So when it comes to the story though, why was most of that shit off screen? Why didn't y'all show the war and like the genocide? How and how freaking Burger King to be? Y'all didn't show Black's backstory. We still don't fucking know what exactly happened with her parents. Well, man, like there's like the site. You can go on. I don't want to go on the site to look for this shit. The fuck? Like, oh my god, man. Or like they knew about it all because they like taught amongst each other, or like looked like they like stared in the dialogues anus for like hours on end. Like, hey man, this shit, this shit. Y'all never mentioned about show don't tell. So like that's big problem that's big problem that I have with the fans. They like jump down your throat so fast all because you don't know everything, literally everything about the fucking games, the two games. Like, dude, like it's so ridiculous. I haven't had anyone get actually mad at me. It's more like they were just so quick to like fact check me. And then also, I guess I wrap up like the questionable like development decisions here. Before I actually jump back into the story like this. So we're not gonna do anything else with the DLC for Freedom Planet One. But people had the means to like make Spade and Torque playable. And then we don't get Torqued in this game. What? Like, well, I'm missing a whole lot of things here that just haven't been shown. Like, we didn't even port him over. So, and then like she also said that okay, we're not giving them any upgrades. Like, they're gonna just be like power ups, like temporary power ups you can get. Then like we take out Lilac's wings. if someone has like a mod out there where you can actually use them, which that was scrapped. Yes, that was scrapped. And did they explain that? No. I mentioned apparently nowhere. You had to like look into. You had to do your own research to like find out about that shit. So it's like, why? I don't know why. So get back into the story. I think we're gonna be here for like a while. Um, so with them not showing us 95% of the fucking story, it's hard to tell what's at stake or not. With so much of the dialogue just being, fed to you, and then like while the pacing improved, it's like too fast in like a lot of places where they don't take a moment to like think about something. Like, it's all, oh yeah, like we let me know what the story person's talking about, all the time, 24/7, all day, every day. Well, yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Hey, man, so that was funny. So we got that going on, along with the cussings being drawn out. Like we still have the same problem, and like while we can like actually skip the cussings, we don't have a fast forward. I saw that. I saw some people complain about that, but yeah, that is a problem, especially with like the cutscenes just dragging out like that. Um, and then also like with like the same story being told over and over again across four characters, while the endings are relatively different, for the most part they're like the same. It's just that certain things change, but it's like I wish you just give us the changes instead of like being like, okay, like I went through this cutscene and spot the difference. Like I wish that wasn't going on because like there's like a whole lot of times where just characters are on the screen, like the playable characters are on the same screen at the same time for like long stretches at time. So while I can't imagine how tricky that would be to like find out like the differences between all that shit. Listen, Savage 2 still did all that shit better. Like, oh my god, man. Oh god. With SA2, it was a lot easier to keep track of because it was as simple as they legit showed the same cutscene again instead of being like, okay, well here's like a few changes here and there. But most of the time with those cutscenes between like the hero and like dark story, when it comes to like the different scenes, if they're actually different, you get the different stuff most of the time. Like about 80% of the time when it comes to fucking differences. So I'm just sitting there being like, yo, like, where's the difference? It's actually killing me to spot a difference. And it's like, I don't really feel it. Well, not really like that. And then like you go through like the same stages, so that don't help either. So again, just go a little deeper into the story. It's centered around Murga's deal here. When it comes to her deal, she wants like a lot of revenge for the Earth dragons, like trying to like burying the water dragon's history, which the freaking devs are too with that one, because like it kind of cucked everyone. But slaughtering the water dragons, which we don't really get a good reason why they did that, other than it being arrogant and like being fearful of them. Like I don't fucking know. Like I don't really know because they didn't show it. Like what was they did not show the actual like relationship between water dragons and earth dragons. So it's like, what are we doing? Are you just gonna tell me? Like damn. Man. So she really wants revenge over all that shit, and then she wants fucking the Magister, who's an Earth Dragon. He wants them motherfuckers to like to pay. She wants him to like pay for like. But we're trying to talk about a character that wants like revenge and is tainted upon characters she hasn't interacted with. We're struggling that hard here. Like it feels that silly, man. I'm sorry, like, dude. Like it's too late. Like, like you was so late for this whole hatred thing. Now she could go off of that hatred, but it's like we've seen this stuff before. Like when it comes to like these type of scenarios, someone's gotta die. So I was like, okay, Lilac, you're putting Lilac in a situation to where she has to kill Murga because Murga's not gonna she's not taking all this lightly. Obviously, she wants motherfuckers to die for this shit. So if she's really about that life, then yeah, Lion's gonna have to kill her. So I was like, okay, how are you gonna do that? That's what I was most curious about, actually. So they went about this the worst way possible. So before I get to like how they went about this, what I will say, they made Murga. She's actually up there with Brevin when it comes to the threat that she imposes. Like she's a very imposing character. Like she's imposing and she's also very competent as a villain because she was pulling a whole lot of strings here. Where when it came to her subordinates, like for one, she made it to where like they were gonna get what they wanted: fame, money, and technology. So it's like she gave them very solid reasons to like work with her. That was pretty smart, and she needed them to like work with her too to get all the parts for her precious Bakanawa. Which yeah, but the render for Bakanawa itself very fucking good. I was floored, like yo man, like that strip a 3D fucking model. And like it feels like a lot more realistic. That I feel like they would miss the point because like this is like more of a retro feeling game. So the fact that they went with like looking at that compared to like we get rarely for like 3D models, it's an interesting take on like how to render something that's like 3D for a 2D game. Um, like it really stands out compared to everything else. Um, so like, they went with an interesting art direction for this time with Bacchanal and how that was rendered. And I think it said that one person rendered that, but yeah, like I can see, but he did a very really fucking good job with that one. And then like the bosses and how like, the bosses look. So yeah, like really interesting stuff there. So she could have like swept all this under the rug and be like, okay, I'm gonna bring the water dragons back. I'm like the last pure blood water dragon, which I pretty much had to look up to come across that information. Uh, so so yeah, Lilac is a half water dragon. Yeah. So and it's alluded to that her like one of her parents is like her dad's like an earth dragon or some shit like that. Because that's the only way she'd be like partial. Like which they didn't really explain, by the way. So like for her to be a good now it's okay. Let me just get through this. When it came to like resolving her situation, like ended up having to like try to beat her because what Murga was always trying to do was, I think she was trying to flood the world. And that's why she shot Bacchanal's like big ass beam at the moon. I saw somewhere that she was trying to like mine for like materials, from the moon. Like it wasn't all that well explained. I wasn't sure what was going on with Bakanawa other than like what got the most out of like the Bakanawa like spacecraft is that this thing can destroy planets, which is the major threat that we're dealing with here. So I got an even better idea of like the threat compared to like Brevin this time. Like the problem here is that she didn't know how to do all that. Like, she was just going off of hatred basically and like vengeance. I know I've been saying that for like a few times now, but okay. When it came to like resolving all that, yeah, Lila just had to beat her, and she was. And then Murray was like, "Oh, how about revenge?" While falling into a pit. So they could have actually like concluded there, and like alluded to how Murga died, but I would actually like to see if she died or not, because at the end of the Lila's story, Lila was like, "I'm sure she's out there somewhere," and proceeded to look for her. Like that's how you end her story? What? I was like, dude, what the fuck? So y'all are sequel baiting. Why? Why end it off like that? Like, all I had to do was be like, okay, Murga died. When they found her probably body, like that was it. But no, she had to survive the fall. And then y'all had the perfect opportunity when it came to the true ending, which had to do like a good hour's worth of bullshit to like get the true ending, which includes the very last stage. The fuck, oh my god, I hate that fucking stage so much. Why the fuck do they do it like that? And like, I kind of thought that was Murder transformed with like that instant kill throughout the stage. Yeah, so the stage has a major fucking threat with the instant kill. So you like fucking go away in this dark ass place. So like that place was horribly designed. Like so to escape from like the light, you had to go as fast as possible to escape it. While I get the idea, the place was cramped as fuck for at least Lilac. I haven't tried with the other characters with that stage, but I imagine they would have similar issues because of like the lack of spacing and how big that fucking like that freaking vision light is. Why they designed the stage like that is like beyond me. Like that shit was, I was like no. Again, it fucking instant kills, so you had to start the stage over if you game over. Yeah, so like there's that shit. All right, so when it came to like facing that boss, I was like, okay, what the fuck is this? It turned out to be like security, the security buffer down there. I don't exactly fucking know. Murga helped out with um defeating that, so you can defeat it. So I was like, okay, is she a good guy now? Like we don't really know because they had to get the fuck out of there because the place was collapsing and shit. So yet again, we don't know what the fuck is going on with Murga. At this very point, all we know is that Brevin and Murga are alive. Why the fuck would they do that? Then they're like, yeah, this is like the true ending. They had get another opportunity with the very last scene, but no, we just show Cordelia, who it's alluded to, it's sort of hinted that that's her girlfriend. What? What in the fuck? Like, listen, I have no problems with like gay relationships, but when it happens, you don't get good stories on the regular. Like, we see this time and time again with stuff like this. So when it comes to this, like, you introduce like yet another problem because Murga mentioned nothing about Cordelia, and she's an Earth Dragon. Like all she said was that like that Cordelia was one of the good ones. That don't mean that she fucking loves her. The fuck. So it feels like that it was like one sided. Like Cordelia is the one that wants Murga's pussy, but it feels a lot like that Murga undermines Cordelia. So and then like true love, like as the achievement, are we memeing here? Like no, this is not the that is not the way. That is not the way. Dev team, how can you follow up the story this bad? And then like there's like a whole lot of things they still didn't explain. Like okay, how did Lilac get stronger exactly? How did because like they kind of explained about why Murga is really strong because she was actually biologically engineered to be a fucking super soldier or some shit. Especially for a water dragon. But they didn't explain anything about how Carol got her dual disc, not even dual disc, but like her freaking blade disc or whatever. They didn't explain how they didn't explain like a favorite character, Mila, her martial art moves and her fascination with science, like her being want to be like a scientist, being proficient, being a scientist. Even they didn't explain any of that. Like they're just like, yeah, shit, like this is like a thing for her, or how she got home. They're just like, oh yeah, this is like a thing now. I don't mean good story, y'all. Like, I'm sorry. Oh my god, man. And then Nira is does imply that she got better with her skills over time too. But dude, this is not this is not how you do it, y'all. Like, dude, they'll deliver on a very good story. This is not how you do it. And then we get another problem with this whole game that since everyone looking forward to this game, they're just like, oh yeah, dude, like this is like the best game ever, game of the year, game of the year, game of the year. How many not game of the year, but like we focus on like the story a lot, but story falls flat. And a whole lot of places the story falls flat. Um, this is not game of the year, but that's some other game. So like, there's that going on, and then just them being, blindly praising the game because like the gameplay. But people submit this as like a fucking review. It's one thing to like comment about it. It's another thing to like have that as your review. And then when it came to like the negative reviews for the game, especially for the story, like people are just spot on. Like, yo, man, what the fuck is going on here with the story? Like, I saw one comment, I saw like one reviewer being like, "Yo, this is on some Marvel shit." You're not in a good spot when someone says that, because I got that feeling too. And when it came to my review, kind of like prefacing the Thea story, I was like, I was like, I had the feeling that they just didn't look at really good stories beforehand. Like the writers, at least the writer did look at, you know, how to make a story substantial. Like he didn't look at substantial material for that shit. Like for this game. Oh my god, dude. So like we don't have a good story, and then they're trying to sequel bait. It's like, well, why are they getting like the movie treatment? Have I been watching Marvel movies like straight up? The fuck, like, dude. And then we have, so yeah, this is like another problem too. the sequel being itself. First of all, the only way y'all can really deliver on this is if you have Murga and Brevin tag team. I think everyone wants that, and then maybe Murga screws over Brevin or the other way around. However y'all want to do it there. But I'm telling y'all right now, I'm personally not going to support this, like the third game, because of how bad this story was. I'm only going to support the game unless I'm part of the storyboard. I'm part of the writing staff, because if that ain't happening, I'm personally not going to buy the game. Plain and simple. Because this is like egregious with the story. Like, dude, what the fuck happened here? This shit, that shit gave me a fucking headache. And then it's like I dumped like fucking, what was it, like 13, 15 hours just to get through the fucking story? And then I get this shit? Really? I've heard games worth more of my time that I didn't finish. That I could have played over this shit. And then like the other thing with the story too is that like so we had these like we had Count Cologne, oh really funny, yeah. And then Carol's sister. They had mentioned Carol's sister in the previous game. So it's like we just made her up on the spot here. Even if they mentioned her, they didn't show her in the previous game. So again, issues, y'all. So like I'll say that um I say that Tori, not Tori, Corey, like Corey is like the best character of like these four Frame Murder's underlings here, because like her felt like it made the most sense. I just my only issue with that one is that I wish they explained how much money she was offered, because that was her like thing. Like she worked with Murder because of monies. Um, and then when we come to like Kalal, like he already has like the fame. Like everyone knows about Kalal apparently. And then oh, like the freaking monkey boy. He already had like technology. He's pretty far as far as that. We kind of fell flat here as well. Like they're okay overall. It's just that yeah, like, I wish they were better still. Like even for like lackeys. Like what was the name? Like Axel? I think it was like Askell. I think it was Askell. Like that dude, like I was feeling him. I'm not gonna lie, but they revealed that he was like the underling too. But it's like for an Earth Dragon, like what? I feel like his shit didn't make sense with the whole like betrayal from his side either. I was like, dude, what the fuck is the story? like not in, it's not in a good way. Sad to say. Um, then I saw it too. Like it was also like a complaint that there's like zero character development happening here. Like damn, like we're step on some One Piece shit. But anyways, okay, the story gets like a freaking like D plus to a C minus. Like dude, like this could have been way fucking better. But for a game that's been developed for like a long ass time like this. Okay, so I guess we can talk about gameplay. Like the gameplay, the best part about the gameplay is actually the potions, and I really like how they actually make you want to like think out what you want to buy, even when it comes to, like the freaking gems. Like the gems are an actual currency in this game. Um, I really like there's like a whole lot of like give and take with that, and that things kind of get scarce for you, especially if you play on normal. Like the lives for you to like like even like a lot revive, like that's 1,000 gems. So I really like that. Well, until the game gets unfair, but I really like how they just want you to be really good at the game and collect as many gems as possible. so you can get these like power ups here. So like the mixtures were easily the best part of the game because you can get it's like elemental power up that does damage over time when you land moves, and it's actually like according to how many times like you actually land hits on the opponent. That was excellent. Like that was actually really helpful as a power up. Um, then like no one for like healing. Um, which I believe it's according to like how many hits you land with your normals instead of specials. That's what I was getting. It kind of works on like other stuff too. So you can heal off of other things because I was actually having like this like extending bond, and it was actually healing me a bit. And I was seeing that the most when I got stuck in the vine. Um, yeah, like that was a interesting thing. Like there's like a whole lot of glitch for the game to this even to this day. But I will commend them on like constantly updating the game because like with one of the latest updates, we can now look at the cutscenes on like the separate window. And then also like another thing kind of forgot. You have to unlock classic mode where in playing one, like you can just play through the game with classic mode on. Like what? Like why was that a thing? I don't personally have like a big problem with it, but now I kind of do since I feel like if someone was worried about the story, they wouldn't go through adventure mode and would actually rather play classic mode. Yeah, like I don't know why they did that. So yeah, like again, so yeah, I'm sorry about me being like really hard on the game, but it's like I would if the game didn't take so long to fucking make and come out, and the pricing was really fucking good, like 25, and I got it on a discount. Hello, like yeah. Like y'all, like they made some good decisions, and made a lot of poor decisions. But most fans don't want to acknowledge like the poor decisions like that, and we don't get compensation for it. So then like what people were also pointing out too, almost commonly, is how we took a step down in music quality. The sound design and everything that sounds really damn good. Um, when it comes to like the OST, we kind of took a step down. And it's like most people just found like those two like not memorable. I was like, damn. I can kind of feel them because I can only like remember like a few tracks honestly, and it's like yeah, I would actually pull up the Frame Plan One's OST over this. Damn man. And then like what's always kind of sad about this game too is that they actually didn't get a whole lot of like sales from what I'm at least from like the first day. Because like the first day they got like what like 600 like ouch man. And it's like I know a whole lot of people were looking forward to this game, and then like the regular player count on Steam like it's kind of poor there too. Like if I look up Steam charts at like right now like at this moment, it peaked at this moment like we're talking about 77 players. Ouch. It peaked at 687. That was when the game came out, like the first day. Yeah, like they could have made a whole lot more money. So like they really should have focused more on like marketing and speaking of okay, before I go into this last point here, marketing and also yeah, sure DLC, Patreon. Like he should straight just made like another Patreon for this game so they can better support themselves in the game as well. It would have been it would have been excellent because I also had like a job. Like now I don't have a job, so I can let's support them like that. So they really should have taken full advantage of like have like a Patreon going on or their own like page for that shit. Like I don't know what it is, but like they just don't want to do that. But it's like they know they can't properly market the game as much as they want to. So I have some really good sales going for the game and support himself. So it's like yeah, like they and that's another really questionable decision that they didn't like that they made. Just not yeah like. So it's like I don't know what they were doing half the time when it came to this game. Like they just want visuals to like carry among, and then like character chemistry. Yeah, they just want those two things going, or than like anything else. And it's like while they delivered on gameplay, the biggest problem is like the dodge, which it would have been a problem if it weren't for certain bullshit attacks where if you just use dodge, like you get hit afterwards. Like a good amount of people were complaining about that a whole lot too. It's like the dodge is like it makes your shit like delayed. I wish they did more with that. Now I know there is like a whole lot of ragging, but let me just try to like wrap this up with like positives. I really like how they brought back facing off against bosses with like multiple characters. I really like that, and that was like the most impactful when it came to the first Murga boss fight, because you see like your friends just getting like taken down while you're trying to like defeat Murga. Where who I was actually able to like defeat on my first try as Lilac. Um, Ironically, with the second try as like Carol, like I couldn't do it. But it was kind of like scripted because they kind of expected you to like lose to her, which makes sense. So let me see here. Also, again, I really like the freaking like mixture system with like the potions and shit. Then the power ups, like a whole lot of them were really good actually. I didn't like the clone one. It was kind of like I'm wrong with how not so useful it was, but yeah. Then the combat, like the combat and the bosses were an overall step up. It's just that certain bosses I really didn't like facing, and a few enemies I really didn't like facing either. Um, let me see, what are some other positives? Um, like I really like Murga as like a villain more than a character. If that makes sense. But there's that too. Osborne 2 had like Serpentine was like back, but no Brevin. I thought really weird. And I do like how they try to make Serpentine take center stage as a villain, but made him like the butt of like jokes and shit. Like he was actually underwhelming compared to like everything else. But he was pivotal in a few cases, so he has that much going for him. But it would really help if Brevin was also back as well. So yeah, I really like how there was a whole lot of stages at this time too. Because it did feel like a little on the shorthand side when it came to like, Dream Planet 1. I think there were like 11 stages or some shit like that. All like the challenges and then like find like all the bosses. Like that whole um that whole thing about the Battlesphere, like yeah, that was excellent. I would say that was actually really fucking good. Because that's like a really good way to like grind, especially with the freaking rabbit mini boss. Like with the rabbit boss, like yeah, you can play as that. And that's like the best way to like grind for crystals. That was really fucking good too. Then like the museum was interesting, like the gallery thing, how they did that. That was interesting too. So they have like good stuff going on here. It's just that everything didn't come together as well as it should have. So while I do have an interest to like do the a iceberg video on the series like this. Um, there's still like a list of things I just don't like about the game. Like where I'm just saying that like a 6.5 to a 7. So yeah, that's all I wanted to like really talk about. And then like the voice acting was pretty good too. So yeah, like that's where I stand with Frame Play 2. And that's all I wanted to like cover. So yeah, covering way better than this. But hey, that's my hot take.
This is Hot Take Central, and I'm out.